It's working just fine so far.
Awesome. So how have you been coping since all this started in March?
Well, thank you for asking. I haven't had time to think about it. It's been pretty busy, and there's just a lot to figure out, but we're working on it every day and hoping for a good outcome. How about you?
I've been good. I was lucky enough to, retain my job here at the Bulletin, so I was able to not have to risk myself out in the world, this big scary world. So I've enjoyed working from home. It proposes some different challenges, I'm sure.
You bet.
But I'm lucky enough to have kept my job.
Do you have pretty reliable internet where you are?
Yeah, I mean, I'm just across the street from the college, so
Okay.
I'm on a student plan.
Yeah.
It's been okay, but if my call drops, I'll just restart it. But hopefully that won't be an issue.
Okay.
Cool. So I've already talked to a couple other people at the college about plans for the fall, but I just wanted to get your input as well. I know no single person will have all the answers, but I guess as a member of Faculty Senate, I guess my first question will be about faculty and what you're doing to protect them. Do you feel with the way Kansas is going with their cases that, do you have any concerns for faculty or staff or even students moving forward?
Well, if you look at the state of Kansas, right now, it's not going in the right direction as far as cases are concerned. And that, of course, is a matter of concern for us in terms of our plans for the fall. I am hoping, like everyone else, that we will see the number of active cases, a number of new cases head back down very soon. They need to. If we can see that happen, it'll be an indication that people in the state are getting a handle on what they need to do. And that is extremely important for ESU and our prospects for this fall.
Yeah, I know the governor just announced that her plans for K through 12 education to be postponed to after Labor Day. Is the current plan for ESU to still open up at the same time?
It is for right now. Obviously, the news about the governor and her decision about K-12, that was just yesterday afternoon. That's less than 24 hours old. But, I guess I would say on the one hand, our colleagues in K-12 have some of the same challenges and issues that we do, but they're not identical situations. Mm-hmm. And I think beyond that, I would say that, if you look at the college and university campuses in Kansas, they're in different locations, different kinds of community settings. So it's not necessarily the case that one size fits all.
Yeah.
But certainly that got our attention yesterday afternoon, and we're watching it closely.
Yeah, my mom's a specials teacher, I guess now is what it's called, for K through 12 instead of like an elective teacher. So she's been, glued to the news since this began in March. Have you received any guidance from the Board of Regents as of late?
I can tell you that from the beginning of the pandemic, and this goes back to the month of March now, the basic approach of the Board of Regents is to look at the 6 universities as unique entities, to rely mostly on each university to make the best decisions that it could. Now, that said, we are a system here in Kansas where there's a lot of collaboration and communication among the 6 universities. For example, President Garrett and the other university presidents, they communicate frequently. They compare notes. They get ideas from each other. The same thing is true. My counterparts at the other 5 universities, we're in regular communication. Dr. Williams is in communication with the student affairs professionals at the other universities. So while our approaches are not identical and they recognize the differences among us, there's a lot of commonality And that's a good thing. But putting our heads together, we have a better chance of making good decisions.
Yeah, okay, that's good to hear. So I know that the county has kind of taken a mask optional approach, and the college has already stated that masks will be required. So I guess my question is the enforcement of that. Are teachers going to be allowed to ask students to leave if they don't wear a mask?
We're talking about a situation there that is a new one that we've never had to face before. First, I can tell you what my hope is. My hope is that all members of the campus community will understand just how important wearing masks and social distancing are going to be to our success this fall. If we want to have our best possible chance of a full fall semester on campus, this is simply what we need to do. My own preference is to think of it in terms of the expectations that we have for each other and for ourselves and our responsibility to each other. To me, that is a more powerful idea than someone telling me that I must do something.
Mm-hmm.
That said, it is a requirement. It's not a suggestion. It's not optional. And we do expect all members of the campus community to follow the rules. Awesome.
That's what I wanted to hear. So I have seen, a couple other universities have tested their sports teams, and KU is obviously the focus when people look at Kansas. Is there anything planned for testing students or here on campus?
I don't know if you saw this, but this morning I heard a news item that University of Kansas is making plans to do a baseline test of everyone as they come back to campus this fall. We at ESU do not have a plan at the moment to do that. Our conversations so far about testing have focused more on individuals who either show possible symptoms, that is, symptomatic individuals who need to be tested for that reason, and also the kind of follow-up contact tracing that might require testing as well. We don't have a plan right now to test everyone coming in. However, I probably should emphasize that every single day we learn a little bit more. Every single day the pandemic situation evolves a little bit more. So I wouldn't rule out anything at this point.
So there are no plans to test the sports teams or the athletics?
Actually, the sports teams is a different situation. And they are, in fact, testing the athletes who are coming in for fall sports as they come in.
Will that be done daily or just once, like when everyone comes back for the beginning of the semester?
I don't know. You mean as far as the athletes are concerned? Yeah. I don't know. I'm sure they have a protocol, and that question has an answer. I just don't know what it is.
Okay. So let's see what else. So I knew there was a concern about our international students and what they would be faced with recently, and thankfully it looks like that the federal government kind of withdrew that argument. So can you tell me anything about what international student enrollment looks like for the fall? Is it up or is it down?
I haven't seen the numbers there. Dr. Daly in the International Education Office could probably give you the specifics. I think it's realistic to think that our international student enrollment will be down this year. It's difficult for me to imagine a scenario where that wouldn't be true.
Yeah, I mean, I just even with just the borders being closed, I have friends from Paraguay who got stuck here over the summer.
And I would add, Lucas, to the points you just made, even though the news of the administration reversing its stance on international students, now that's very welcome news. That's great news. But of course, you know, that's also a situation where a certain amount of damage has already been done. The fact that for a period of time, it was assumed that international students would be at that risk, where if their institution did find it necessary to go fully online during the course of the semester, they would have to leave. Mm-hmm. You know, it's not hard to understand that international students who might have been watching the situation very carefully at some point simply make a decision based on what they know at that moment. So we're, on the one hand, we're happy that the decision was reversed. We still remain concerned, though, that there are a lot of obstacles in front of international students who want to study in the U.S. this fall.
Yeah, I mean, there are already a number of obstacles that they have to go through, and I've had a little bit of interaction with the international department, so I'm good to hear that, you know, that's still a concern for the university. I guess a more general question would be, can you say anything about general enrollment? Is there anything that you oversee?
I keep an eye on those numbers all the time, and it's interesting if you simply look at the number of students who are enrolled for fall right now or on a day-to-day basis. What you notice is that our enrollment of graduate students is actually up compared to last year. Our enrollment of undergraduate students is somewhat down compared to last year. But one of the things that we're aware of is that we watch those numbers every year at this time especially. Mm-hmm. And in what we might think of as a normal year, it's possible to look at what the numbers are in the middle of summer and have a pretty good idea of where you're going to end up the first day of classes in the fall. Mm-hmm. In the current environment, we just don't know if it's possible to project that way because there are so many factors that will come to play in a student's final decision. So there's a lot we don't know.
Yeah, I talked to Residential Life a while ago in Cass, and he had said that it looked like they would be able to accommodate everyone, because I knew housing applications, I think, were due at the end of June. So he was positive that things would be good, which was some nice news for a change. So I guess that leads to my next question, because you said graduate student enrollment was up. I know a couple positions were cut or not retained, and many graduate student positions were eliminated. So do you think ESU is going to be losing any programs or services because of these cuts?
You know, graduate assistants are a big part of the campus in a number of ways. A lot of graduate assistants teach or support teaching. They're involved in research functions, administrative functions. So there's no doubt when we found it necessary to reduce the number of graduate assistantship positions, that's going to have an impact. All of those areas of what we do are going to feel an impact from that. You know, that was a part of a larger budget reduction process that actually was not directly related to the pandemic at all. We've been making plans for that, you know, back as early as the early part of spring semester. So, you know, budget reductions are never a pleasant thing, and they always have an impact on what we have to do, like any kind of belt tightening does. But at the same time, we knew that this really was necessary.
Is there any programs in particular that won't continue?
Are you thinking about academic programs?
Yeah, or I guess like I had a couple graduate students like teach me in general biology. I don't know if any of those like categories of teachers assistants were just eliminated, or programs that they may have been involved in with research.
I can tell you that there certainly won't be any academic programs that are discontinued because of the budget reductions we've done. if we expand that a little bit to think in terms of programs that might be affected by budget reductions, sure. Because, almost any reduction in resources will have some kind of impact.
Absolutely.
And I'm sure if you were talking with Dr. Williams in Student Affairs, he'd probably tell you the same thing about programs in student life. There will be an impact. There will be noticeable changes because of it.
Yeah. So that answers most of my basic questions. I guess one of my last questions would be, is there anything that you're hoping the university does or that you want to see happen?
Yes, that's an easy one for me to answer. My one hope, or actually I'll put it as a two-part hope. It's really the same thing, but there are two parts to it. My first hope is that we are able to start the semester on campus. And the second part of that is that we as a campus community will commit ourselves to doing what we need to do to keep each other safe. And absolutely central to that is wearing masks and observing social distance.
Yeah. I know I talked to Gwen Larson, and she had said that there was plans to make like ESU branded masks and stuff. Do you know, have you gotten yours yet? Oh, look at that, the black and gold. Did you get a couple supplies, or are they rewashable?
They, yes, I think the plan is that all of us are going to have two. They are washable, absolutely reusable. They're good quality. They have 2 layers of fabric, which is preferred. And they also have the place where if you want to, you could put in one of the special filters between the 2 layers.
A mask like that. So it's good to know
they're
that
good.
You'll have something like that. Cool.
Yep.
So thank you for taking some time out of your day to talk with me.
It's a pleasure.
Was there anything else you wanted to say or share with me before we go?
Nothing in particular, but enjoyed talking with you today. Hope you stay well. Take care of yourself.
Awesome. Well, thank you. I'll see you later then.